Welcome to the 98ers. And we just watched our boys drop Game 5 of the World Series. I am Shooter, the Marty McFly of the Rays. As you can see, I'm slowly fading away. One game gone to just being a floating head on this podcast post-game show. But that's okay. I have a fully intact stash, a fully intact Thomas Schooley, and a halfway drunk Mark Romano. But that's not true at all. I don't know. It could be true. All right. So not much to celebrate. Totally different show from last night. Rays dropped this game. What was the final score? 4-2?
4-2.
Yep.
And Rays just couldn't pull that magic rabbit out of the magic hat tonight. What happened, boys?
They just didn't take advantage of opportunities again. I mean, here you came. Kershaw was out there struggling from the very first batter, and that's what it comes down to. This game was for the Rays for their taking. However you fucking want to phrase it, this entire game, it was there for the Rays to take this entire game, and they just didn't. They didn't come back like they did last night with the timely hitting, and their approach was different than that. It seemed like they were back to that, just trying to win it all with one swing. Specifically, a couple of at bats later in the game, But overall, Glasnow didn't look great, but he came back and he did his job. Really, he only gave up 4 runs. I think you say you give up 4 runs to the Dodgers in any game, you like that, right? Do we agree 4 runs to the Dodgers is something you can live with?
Yep.
Yeah.
So, and especially Kershaw, leadoff man, first 4 innings. I think those are all things that when you say going into a game, if those are things that you're going to have as a manager, you're feeling, and a club, you're feeling really good about that. So, the Rays just didn't execute when they had opportunities.
Yeah, it's totally agree with you. They had plenty of chances to lead this game, to win this game, to tie this game. Any way you wanted to throw anything at it, they had the chances. They just didn't. The question, the steal, that's going to be the question of this game. Was it the right call? Was it the wrong call? I thought, it was a gutsy play, but I thought you had to be aggressive. But I don't know if you be aggressive that early, but you had to be somewhat aggressive.
I mean, I think we kind of get there, but yeah, we'll talk about that later. What do you think, Mark?
Yeah, I liked it. I'm not sure how smart it was, but it was an interesting play. But that same inning is when they had the first and third, nobody out, didn't score, and you get down early and you just kind of try to claw back, and then you lose an opportunity like that. You just don't get too many of those. And that's the theme of the night, just not being able to get timely hitting, capitalize on the bases when you have them, and it just didn't work out that way tonight. And it seems like all of the euphoria from last night is now kind of lost. And now we're back to, okay, now here we are, going Tuesday night to try to stave off elimination with Blake Snell, and we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, and a kind of tired bullpen,
A day rest. Thank God.
Yeah.
I thought it was
For all of
interesting. The Dodgers went to Trine in the ninth inning and not to Jansen. They haven't really had much confidence in him. Yeah, at one point in time, he was one of the most dominant closers in the game, and now last year or two, I feel like he's definitely taken a step back, and I think they feel the same way, obviously, because he wasn't in there. Blew the game last night, so something to keep an eye on for maybe potentially later in the series if it gets that far. But
right,
yeah, the guy last night that called in, that kind of seemed like probably a Dodgers fan.
right.
Yeah, wasn't really sure, but I think so. But he was really hating on Jansen and that they keep using him and that he keeps losing them the games. So
Yeah.
it seems like the fan confidence in him is gone. Now it's just wondering if the team's confidence in him is a little bit lackluster there.
Yeah.
If anything, I think you're just sitting there looking down that lineup card and you're seeing the matchup there. You know what I mean? Maybe Jansen isn't quite as favorable of a matchup. But a couple of right-handed batters there in that lineup. The righty on righty matchup might be more what they were looking at there. I'm not really concerned really about that side of the diamond. We've shown that we can beat this team if we go out and execute, and they didn't do it tonight. And I think that was it's huge. I don't know if you can understate this loss right now and how that it was their I mean, if you come out and you scratch and claw and the guy dominates you and you get 2 runs and then your guy goes out and he deals and maybe they get 3 or 4 and then you're like, all right, man, it's just one of those games, and then you move on. But I mean, they were getting to him. They were on base, first and third, no outs, that multiple opportunities with guys in run and scoring position with less than 1 out. And I mean, Adames, I mean, come on, man. I don't even know what to do with that guy right now. I mean, all that
a year ago he was a hero,
and
then
yeah. Right now, all he has to do is put the ball in play. I mean, even Wendell, I think he swung super early in that at bat. Whenever you're looking at a guy that's struggling, both of those guys came out and swung early, and you saw that's the only way Kershaw got out of jams was when the guys came up and started swinging early at him and letting him dictate the bat. And it happened a couple times whenever pivotal situations, and he was able to get out of it again, just like game 1. I feel like there's a replay exactly of game 1. We got to him early, couldn't really get to him, and came up with a loss.
Yeah, and you have to give the Dodgers a little bit of credit too, because I mean they lost a heartbreaker last night, and come back tonight and they went up early in the game, and they never
looked back.
Right, so maybe that's some of the veteran leadership. Guys like like Kershaw and Betts have been around for a while. Who knows, but credit to them. They did what they had to do, and so now I ask everyone what we think here moving forward. Can the Rays dig deep and come back, or what are your thoughts?
Well, I mean, I'm still optimistic here. 2 in a row, a little bit different than 3 in a row, right? And especially if you got Snell, you never know. You never know. This guy could just come out and it all be clicking tomorrow, and he could go 6 super strong innings, and the Rays only need to put up 3 runs, and that gets the win, right? And even against this lineup, you know what I mean? Snell's the kind of guy that the way he pitches, he could match up really well against this lineup if he's hitting his spots and
young
the hitters. Right, exactly. If he's challenging guys the way he knows to and is confident, he can do that. He can shut even this lineup down. So then you go and look at game 7, and you got Uncle Charlie come back on the mound to try and redeem himself from game 3. And I like that opportunity for him. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'm still optimistic, especially after tonight. The Rays had their opportunities tonight, and that's all you can really ask for overall. You want them to come through, right? But when you're talking about a series, you want to at least see your team is still able to win a game, right? Like, we're not, okay, last night was kind of a fluke back and forth. They didn't just come out and dominate tonight, the Dodgers. You know, it was the Rays game for the taking. They didn't quite take it. Here we go. You know, we got to go on to game 6, and hopefully Snell comes out and does a little bit better than what Glasnow did. You know, I'm not saying that he didn't do a great job and only giving up the 4 runs. It was a little bit shaky, and so maybe it doesn't give you guys the confidence when you're already starting down 2-0. You know what I mean? If you can get out of that first inning clean tomorrow, I think that's the biggest thing for the Rays tomorrow, is that first pitcher, the pitchers to get out of that first inning clean. That's the biggest thing for Snell.
I think we talked about how if the Dodgers end up losing it, yesterday's game would be the game that was the reason. I think tonight's game, if the Rays end up losing this, is going to be the reason they lost this World Series. They had the opportunity and they shut down the Dodgers the rest of the game, but yet they didn't do anything on their opportunities. I think, I mean, me and Mark were talking earlier. Does it really matter who starts for starts for the Rays? They only go 4 or 5 innings. It's really goes to the bullpen, and the bullpen been shutting down the Dodgers pretty well. So in a way, it does. Those first 2 innings, it seems to be where they hurt us the most. If we could get through those first couple of innings, then we have a good chance of taking game 6 on Tuesday.
That's right.
It's such a beautiful thing, honestly. Like, these games get to be, even now, this was a relatively short, fast baseball game, and it's still midnight here doing the show. So I'll be thankful for a night off in between this and the next show. But
I mean, before the 8th inning, we hadn't gotten a hit since the 3rd inning, and we hadn't gotten a guy on base since the 4th inning. So, you know, they kind of did some damage to us, but we ended up getting in the 8th, and it looked like, oh, look, the Rays are going to come from behind, and then we got shut down again. And then the 9th, we squandered it.
Yeah, and I think that at bat with Muncy for that 4th run, that solo, I really think that was probably Tyler's worst at bat too, because he got down 3-1 with him.
Oh,
and then,
hammered.
Yeah, and that ball was just, there was no doubt. Muncy knew exactly what was coming. Glasnow was late in his performance, in his appearance, whatever, and he was down 3-1, and he was just trying to get something over the plate, it looked like, and Muncy was like, yep, I know, it's hitter's count, I'm going for it. And he it was there. So, and I think that kind of changed a lot too, because then it was kind of, he had come back and shut down. I think he retired 7 in a row at that point, before he gave up that solo shot. And then right after that, that's when you get the 1st and 3rd, no outs, and that's when Margot still tries to steal home. And I don't think that Margot tries to steal home if it's only a 1-run lead. You know what I mean? If it's 3-2 instead of 4-2, I don't know that you try and steal there with KK at the plate. By the way, that guy needs some props right now in the World Series. That guy is definitely doing his job at the plate. KK is getting on base. KK is causing stuff out there. He's playing. I mean, right? We were worried about if he was going to be able to play after he took that. We talked about it last night after taking that hit on the hand. That guy is just out there doing his job, man. And he for one of the guys that doesn't usually show up with his bat in the regular season, he is in this World Series for sure.
I agree.
How much did you hate seeing Choi get announced and then get sent back?
I mean, be old bait and switch. He gets used for that as much as he doesn't get used for that. So I wasn't surprised.
I was like, oh, there goes a tear for Stash.
The tears when he's not in the starting lineup.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, he should be, because, I mean, if the Dodgers throw Buehler on Tuesday night, he'll definitely be in there, I would think.
That's got to be the matchup that's going to happen Tuesday. It's got to be Buehler against Snell, and then if Game 7, it's going to be Morton versus.
Would they come back with? Would they come back with Urias in Game 7? Is that what they would pitch?
I would think so, especially because, I mean, he did fairly well. You know what I mean?
Or do you save Buehler for Game 7 and then you throw Urias in? 6.
You're gonna put Bueller in and try to finish it on Tuesday.
Yeah, I don't think you want to try and let the Rays hang around and be like, okay, if it goes, you don't want to think Game 7 with this Rays team at all.
Especially because they'll have some confidence going against Uriah, seeing how that was the game we won. So you want to get that Bueller in there and try to finish it out.
Yeah, because that's true. Because Game 7, everybody be available anyway. So
yeah.
So we see. Yeah, it's disappointing. It's definitely disappointing after last night. You know, everybody I think thought that they would be able to build on it and win this game tonight and kind of be in the driver's seat for the rest of the way, but not to be. And
yeah,
Shooter Dodgers rapidly over there.
Yes, I'm fading fast.
And did you see Brett? They had to give Brett fluids. He ended up having to get some fluids in him because of last night's game.
Need a little IV action.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, Mark, we were
fucking airplane antics.
We were banking on you know, the Rays kind of taking all that momentum, and we saw at the beginning of this game right away. Of course, Dodgers get right on the board with 2 runs. Another in the second inning, and then the Rays are playing catch up and just couldn't get it done. They had those chances in the bottom of the 4th, bottom of the 8th, and Stash, you said it the best. There's not much else to talk about in this one.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty cut and dry, really. I mean, you had a couple of clutch at bats that, you know, they talked about the pop up early, and then the first and third. You know, those two situations really were the big game changers, if you will, for the Rays not coming through. I'm not defeated right here at all after this game. There's positive things to take away from the Rays at the plate tonight. It's just some of those guys that I just don't. It's hard to sit back as a fan and not understand how these guys can not change their approach. Like, even you got John Smoltz, and he's sitting there. All right, can Willie change his approach here? Because it's wide open. All he has to do is stroke it into right field, and there you go. And very first pitch, nope, swinging for the fences right there. You know, and how? I mean, I just don't know. I don't know how, as a coach, as a lineup, as a team, you don't understand that sometimes you just gotta put the fucking ball in play. I mean, you saw it last night.
Phillips knows.
Right.
I was saying that the other day, but then you were like, "No, I want the long ball."
Well, no. I'm not. I want it. No. Listen. For sure, you got to put the ball in play. But when you come down to this, there's situational hitting, dude. That's what I'm talking about. I've never said that you don't want to have situational hitting. You want to dance with the one that brung you, because that's what they did this season. But at the same time, you got to be aware of your situation, and that is a first and third with no outs. And well, at this point, it's only 1 out for him. Even if you're trying to swing away, you don't swing it at your fucking cleats, right? Because that's what he was in 3 pitches, by the way, too. That was my other main problem with Willie. It wasn't even that he was swinging for the home run. It's that it was a 3-pitch out after Kershaw was struggling in that inning. All you had to do is let him throw a few more pitches. That's all I'm saying. Like, and he swung at 2 balls at that at bat. So that's my thing. It's not necessarily even don't swing for the fences. It's be aware and pay attention to what's going on with your pitcher, because that's when they kept bailing him out. He would get in trouble, then guys would get up there and get antsy and try and swing and get behind, and then that's whenever he was able to take control of the at bat.
And the roof was closed again tonight, right?
Well,
right,
there's that too, right? There's that too. So it was kind of rainy. So I don't know, but again, I don't feel negative coming out of this game. It's going to be tough to beat the Dodgers 2 games in a row, but I do think the Rays can do it, especially with Snell and Morton coming on the mound.
Yeah, there's definitely a possibility. You would think that the Rays have to have one more at least breakout performance where things are just going to click.
Right.
Whether it's they need the day off rest to get to it, or we lost the last time they had the day off. So let's just hope it's that it helps them and gets their bats moving, and they put up a pretty good. I mean, Rays were known for the bunts, and we're not putting down any bunts or anything. A bunt could have scored 1 or 2 runs tonight, in those situational places. Yeah. Instead, and why not try it with someone that isn't doing good? Why not try it with a Meadows, with an Adames?
Yeah.
I give confidence to them if they can get on, plus get them an RBI and maybe tie up the game, go ahead. I mean, it's just, we're not trying that at all. I mean, the steal was one thing, but lay down that bunt, try for the bunt a couple times.
Yeah, we saw them do it the other night. Dodgers did it the other night, if you recall, the safety squeeze, and they scored the run. And yeah, maybe Adames tries to bunt in that situation, and you push a run across. Sometimes you got to manufacture things and create things, and because you're not always going to get the big hit, and so sometimes you got to sort of scratch out a run or two. And I like that. It would have been a nice play, but they just, to your point, and they haven't been doing much of that. So.
I like how Margot is just like, screw it, I'm just gonna steal all the bases because I'm not just relying on a home run here.
No one's gonna
go ahead and steal all the bases. In hindsight, might have been a bad idea.
Got to run home.
Yeah. that was one of the not better plays that we've seen. Although he almost snuck in there, he was very close.
He was within inches. Yeah.
It wasn't until they came back in the inning after that and showed the replay that I was convinced that he was out. And even Joe Buck was with me. He's like, I haven't even seen a clean angle yet. And finally, in that last angle, maybe by
I was listening on ESPN radio, and they were saying the same thing. They were like, I think he might have been safe. And then they were like, oh no, it was just a couple inches. But then they were talking about on the radio how Randy went and grabbed the ball when he set his new record tonight that we haven't even talked about.
Yeah.
And then when Kershaw set his new record, he was just like, give me the ball and let me throw it again. They said that's the difference between the old and the new baseball.
I mean, I guess. I don't know.
Kershaw's been to a lot of World Series games.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just wants the one that's gonna count.
Yeah. And again, we can go back to that stealing home thing. I don't hate it. The only thing I don't like is not having movement on first base. It didn't seem like it was a coordinated thing. It seemed like, he just went on his own. So if you're going to steal home there, especially with the guy on first and a left-handed pitcher, I think you want to have that guy on first trying to do something to still distract
him some way.
Pitcher in his stretch, so he's not immediately going to third or going home, I mean. But again, you can't have your cake and eat it too. Either you want them to be old school base and manufacture runs and take chances, and sometimes it doesn't work out, or you want them to sit there and wait for them to stroke the long ball. You know what I mean? You got to take a chance, or you got to wait. Those are your options. You know what I mean? So, and the only problem I have is that you got KK at the plate there. That's my only problem, is that maybe before this series, okay, sure, we don't really 100% have a lot of faith in KK, but KK has been locked in, especially the last 3 games. Kiermaier has been seeing the ball and putting the ball in play. And I think that's probably the only issue I would have had there looking back on it,
A lot of what ifs. What if KK could have had that at bat? What if Randy didn't swing at the first pitch in the bottom of the 8th inning? Pitch. We're gonna it's gonna be tough to fall asleep tonight for different reasons.
I'm not gonna question it. I'll question every single other person on that lineup for swinging at the first pitch except for Rosenrader right now. Because if he swings first pitch, that means he saw something. Because they were talking about in the broadcast again, he's not missing any mistakes. So if he's swinging at something, he saw something. Good for you. You know what I mean? Other than
or at least
the rest of that team,
something.
The rest of that team definitely needed to have a little bit more patience in some of those situations with Kershaw tonight. But now it's game 6, right? Now we're going to game 6. That's all we can do right now is look forward.
Yep, game 6 on Tuesday. You guys have anything else, or you want to wrap this up? Go rest up for a day, and we'll get back at it on Tuesday night, hopefully celebrating another win.
Yep.
Yeah, man. There's not a lot left. Like I said, I mean, before we came on the show, you're like, "Hey, can we keep it to 30?" I was like, "Hey, let's do 15." Yeah, and that's me.
Then I said 7.
Let's do 15. Yeah, and I would have done 7. I had one take.
Yeah, I had the one for Tuesday.
Yeah, that's about it. So, like I said, Snell goes. Snell needs to command the way he can. And again, you got to attack these guys. You got to attack these guys. You can't get behind these hitters, especially early on. So, if we can get a clean first inning, that's number one. That's where the whole last 2 games starts, is a clean inning in game 6, and then go from there.
You say Rays win?
I'm gonna call, if the Rays win, it's gonna be like they gotta get some runs, hopefully like a 5-3 win. But again, I'm trying not even look too far ahead, other than the first inning, clean inning, and then I'll get on Twitter and start making my predictions. But if they can get through that first inning clean, I'll be happy.
I say Troy needs to be in the lineup. Randy needs to go back to third, not second batter. I thought that was a mistake going into today's game, why they moved him out of 3 into the 2 slot. And I say 4-3 Rays.
I'm going to go with 6-4. 6-4 Rays. To go send it to game 7.
Nice.
Cool. Yeah, I'll go
7-2 Dodgers.
I'm going 9. I'm going 9-4 Rays. We've seen this team with the back against the wall twice in the playoffs, and they haven't let us down once yet. So we just needed 2 more times to win this series. So they're gonna come back strong.
Someone said we need to channel our 2004 Stanley Cup Tampa Bay Lightning.
True. We need Marty St. Louis to come and swing a double.
I don't know.
Yeah. He looks like a good buncher. All right, let's wrap this up. This has been the 98ers. Don't forget to be a 98er and raise up.
Raise up.